It has just occurred, and you need to get ready as soon as possible. So what exactly is going on? At a time when everyone is facing a critical decision, BlackRock is talking more than ever about the tokenization of assets that exist in the real world. Since April of 2021, the demand for the RRP facility offered by the Federal Reserve has dropped to 4.1 billion, which is the lowest level experienced since then. Now, why is it vital to make use of RRP? What exactly is it? In any case, it is one of the most important excess liquidity indices for the financial system, and it has decreased by 2.5 trillion since it reached its highest point in December 2022. Now, if we scroll down here and have a look at the real chart, we can see that during the most recent bull market, the excess liquidity was reaching all-time highs. During this time period, cryptocurrency was reaching all-time highs. At this point, the avalanche of XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum Solana occurs. With the exception of BNB, all of the leading alternative cryptocurrencies at this point in time were smashing record highs, while the liquidity was at its maximum. Of course, as the liquidity began plummeting off of a cliff, the situation changed. Suddenly, everything began to make sense. This is the moment when Bitcoin reached its lowest point in history. The past 5 years have been filled with extremely insane events that have occurred during this time period. The current situation is as follows. The majority of people are technically unaware of the fact that quantitative tightening has never halted in the United States of America. This is something that they do not realize. The surplus of liquidity in the United States of America has persisted, but this situation is going to undergo a substantial shift. At this very moment, the liquidity of the market has reached a crucial point, which is the point at which literally magical things begin to take place. One of these things is the Federal Reserve really beginning to print money, because liquidity is absolutely necessary. If the Federal Reserve does not take this action, the likelihood of banks beginning to fail will increase by an enormous amount. It is my firm belief that all of the major financial institutions are exerting a great deal of pressure on the Federal Reserve at this very moment in order to bring about this outcome. Consequently, based on what I am observing in the markets at the moment, I am of the opinion that the possibility of rate reductions that are more significant than what we had anticipated at the outset is about to materialize. And in the event that this is proven to be the case, the economy of the United States is going to be pouring trillions of dollars into the economy of the entire world, which will have enormously beneficial repercussions for XRP. To illustrate my point, have a look at this specific circumstance right here. The statistics are not wrong. Take a look at the time period 2022, when we are reaching the highest level of liquidity ever recorded. At the same time, what was also reaching new heights for the first time in history. You guys are going to have to answer that question in the comments section down below. For the first time in history, gold futures have surpassed $4,300 per ounce, and they are currently up more than 60% in 2025. One of the most important leading indicators of the direction in which the markets are heading is gold. It makes no difference if that is Bitcoin or not. It is irrelevant whether the stock market is being discussed or whether the subject at hand is real estate. Gold comes in first place. This is always the first thing to move if you have not yet become aware of this at this point in time. However, today is the day that you are going to become more knowledgeable about it. Bitcoin's reaching heights never before seen every single time that Bitcoin, crypto, or gold futures has reached all-time highs. The market has been experiencing a great deal of volatility. When it comes to cryptocurrency, it has been quite quick to follow. And while it may take a few days or weeks at times, it can take as little as a few minutes. It can take up to a month at all times. Although it may take up to 2 months at times, it does occur. You all need to exercise some patience. Fear is so prevalent in the markets at the moment. The situation has reached such a stage that something truly abnormal is taking place right now, which we are going to discuss in a very short while. But even hedge funds are showing signs of fear. It can be seen that the sales of hedge fund equity are picking up speed. In the most recent week, investors sold $3 billion worth of US shares, making this the 4th consecutive week that they have done so. hedge funds reported a weekly outflow of more than $2.1 billion, marking their fourth consecutive week of negative activity. Due to this, their average for the past 4 weeks reached $2.1 billion, which is the most ever recorded, dating back to the year 2008. When they look at this, people think to themselves, oh, this is not a good thing. This appears to be extremely terrifying. Nevertheless, we must not forget what transpired following the year 2008. That is, the banks printed money. When there was a generational bottom, if you had purchased it, you would have made a sum of money that would have changed your life forever. In the realm of cryptocurrency, what did we just observe? In the event of a flash crash, the value of certain cryptocurrencies dropped by 90%. The price of XRP dropped to $1.20. If you were able to make a purchase within that time period, then guess what you would have done? In spite of the fact that the Federal Reserve is sending signals that they are getting ready to print money, the prices that we are currently at are still, in my perspective, quite appealing. You have caught a generational low. The consequences of an increase in M2 are common knowledge. We are all aware of what takes place. As you can see from this figure right here, the global M2 has been increasing over the past few years. Is this the case? During the year 2020, there is a discernible rise that may be observed. It was at this point that the Biden administration assumed power, and it was during this time that they began printing during the COVID government. During this span of time, which spanned a number of years, we witnessed our M2 completely erupt, reaching its ultimate peak exactly here in approximately April of 2022. After that, we experienced tightening, which resulted in a significant loss of liquidity. Nonetheless, it has been increasing on a worldwide scale, and it is precisely because of this that cryptocurrency has been able to experience a rise over the course of the past year, from a value of 24 to the current value of 25 for us. The world's supply of M2 has not been increased by the United States. They have not yet begun quantitative easing, not the United States of America. The continents of Europe, China, Canada, and Australia all have it. Although many nations have begun the process of printing money, the United States has been slow to get started. The United States of America is well aware that the moment they activate this money printer, chaos is going to break out throughout the world. This country's economy is the most powerful in the entire planet. The impact that they will have is incomprehensible. When compared to the total GDP of other countries, the GDP of a single state within the United States of America is relatively small. Relatively small. What do you think will happen when the dollar bill that everyone uses in the cryptocurrency world, by the way, USD, is used? 99% of cryptocurrency transactions are conducted using stable coins valued in US dollars. What are your thoughts on what takes place when the money printer is activated? The value of the US currency lowers. Are each of these trading pairs, the value of a Bitcoin XRP in respect to the other, unquestionably explodes, or else more people are going to invest their money in cryptocurrency. There is nothing more to do but wait a few more months before taking action. Is that true? A number of individuals are predicting that we will reach our high in December of this year. There are many who believe that we will reach our zenith in January or February of 2026. That is, how long is it? Let's say we're talking about 4 or 5. The shortest amount of time would be 2 months, while the longest amount of time would be 6 months. I am referring to signing me up. Sign me up for it, regardless of whether or not October is red. It makes no difference to me if we go back to a price of $1.20 for XRP. Based on what I am seeing right